Welcome back to Technical Tip Tuesday. This month, we're joined by David Gavilanes, the Regional Business Coach and Training and Development Leader for Blue Kangaroo Packouts. David, in the first two tips, we covered quite a bit, some fun basics. Then we talked about prioritization. And now this week, we're talking about key do's and don'ts that technicians should follow when using ultrasonic cleaning systems on personal property. Well, I'm going to throw this one up to David. There's several ways to answer this, if you will. And so I think he's going to dive into the several layers of the do's and don'ts. So, David, what is the first basic do and don't that comes to your mind when it comes to ultrasonic cleaning, property?
The first basic do and don't is to pack out by material type. So if you're planning to use ultrasonics for the cleaning, you have to understand first that the purpose behind ultrasonic is to create efficiency in cleaning, right? To process things faster. If you have a box with, say, a porous item and some non-porous items, right? You do so much as throw one book into, a box of, dishware. What you've done is you've created a situation where at the ultrasonic line, you have to stop and think, wait a second, I can't just transfer the entire contents of this box into a basket and dip the basket. I've got to do something with this porous item. So you then have to then remove that item, take it to hang clean and have it processed and make sure that it meets back with the box because you want to maintain that chain of custody. So by packing out by material type at the pack out, what you're doing is you're creating efficiency later on in the process. And so what do I mean by packing out by material type? Well, it's a basic question, right? Can I get this wet? Can I not get this wet? If it's a non-porous item, then pack it out, box it together, and label it for ultrasonic. So that way, when you're unloading the truck, unloading the vault, you can direct it towards the ultrasonic, creating that much more efficiency to get it processed over in that area. Now, you can go even further and say, well, the material types with non-porous items, we could be talking about, ceramics, glass, metals, what have you, even, glazed items like porcelain. So, and all these items clean at different rates. So, if you've got, say, glassware that's going to clean very, very quickly, in a same box with plasticware, which might take longer to clean. You might want to consider even separating those items. And so that way, when you dip a basket of just glassware, you know that might just be like a 4 minute soak and you can move that along. Whereas the plasticware might have to sit in the ultrasonics for longer. So thinking about material types and how you want to separate them, that's that's a major do or don't with ultrasonics because at the end of the day, can you just, take your time and, clean any non-porous item in the ultrasonics? Yes, but the purpose is really to create efficiency. So being mindful of the material types, um, there's that. And I can go even further. Do you want another?
I do want another. And the reason why I do is I think because, we hear these terms, but do we really know what that means, right? And I think this does come back down to the having the right proper the having the right processes and procedures in place. You mentioned a couple of things about how you pack out, how you label, and then I think we can go as far as what shouldn't you put in an ultrasonic. Is there something that you shouldn't put in there? I think that's also a key do and don't because I think sometimes it's a gray area, especially if you're not in the contents and pack outs world, right?
Right. So one of the most dangerous things that you can do is to dip electronics in the ultrasonics. And I always differentiate electronics and electrical items. So electronics would be anything with a chipboard or a digital display or a screen. So you're going to ruin anything with the screen on it. The digital display will be ruined. When it comes to electronics with chipboards, it's not so much the water that's going to corrode the components of the chipboard as much as it is the minerals in the water. So if you truly wanted to clean electronics in an ultrasonic bath or through some kind of aqueous cleaning system, you would have to first make sure that you're stripping the water of those minerals. So then you're introducing a DI system into your process. So if that's what you want to do, then be sure that you're introducing DI water. Now, does it make sense to fill your ultrasonic tank with DI water? No, it doesn't because it's still a bath, right? So once you dip a contaminated item into that bath of DI water, it's no longer DI water. So for electronics, you want to have a separate aqueous cleaning system that's more of a spray cabinet system, a shower system, or even a spray wand system where the water can kind of like think of like a power washer connected to a DI system. That's essentially what that is, right? So you want to rinse down the electronics so that you're rinsing it down and there's not any danger of corrosion later on. So electronics is one of those things that it's a misconception. That being said, you can dip things like, toasters and, box fans and other electrical items that don't have chipboards and where there's components are just sealed. The wiring is sealed, so it's not going to get damaged. But also be sure to clean them at temperatures that aren't too high. So there's many do's and don'ts, and you've got to be very mindful of what you're doing at the ultrasonic station. You can ruin stuff in there.
No, that's a great point too. And I was going to say temperature, to your point when you talked about electronics. And sometimes things need to be hand cleaned, like you mentioned earlier, like books and things like that. And so that's really what stemmed this question because I think a lot of times if you're not in the space of doing contents and pack outs, you're like, ultrasonic, that's so cool. You could just throw everything in there, right? Like, and that's what a consumer will think too. But I think it's just peeling back those like layers to really show, hey, this is a delicate process. It's detail oriented. And we haven't even really touched the emotional side of it, right? Like, God forbid you put something in there that's too hot and you mess something up, or like you said, hey, you accidentally put a book in there, not saying that that would happen, but then you have to go back to the homeowner, and then the do's and don'ts lead to either success or failure, right? And that's what this really comes down to. So for those of you watching, we're just scratching the surface. We really appreciate you tuning in for Technical Tip Tuesday, and we will see you next week. Take care.